All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy July 6th. I loved our webinar yesterday. I really appreciated the chance to have a session with you on a Sunday and kind of get ready for the week. So welcome. I said it before. What a wild and crazy what a wild and crazy open for the market this is going to be. Some great lessons are coming, and a risk warning. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational and educational. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell any particular financial instrument. And if you desire personal financial advice, please consult a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. I don't intend to be. I don't want to be. I just want to be me. And so here's the week of July 6th. And then here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about taking losses, early hedging trades, small cap win, and then the big short is coming. And we'll talk about that. So I'll kick things off with a reminder that the open house is August 21st and 22nd. You can RSVP at coaching@wrbooker.com. The nearest airport is Houston Bush Intercontinental. The next closest is Houston Hobby Southwest. That's about 1.15 hours away, so keep that in mind. Houston Bush is 30 minutes away. And then I would recommend you stay at the Embassy Suites at the Woodlands at Hughes Landing. That is, I could actually see it from my office, so that would be a great place to stay. All right, we'll take a look at the bounty spreadsheet today for sure. We're going to talk about buying a call for every swing short play, and then we're going to talk about the 4 waves and a wedding, the strike zone pattern on UONEK. I've actually pulled that up right here. I bought 10 shares pre-market just to see if it would work of that. It's up in pre-market. Not a surprise. We talked about this yesterday. We will talk about this a lot today. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is PDD, taking losses, hedging, and we're going to have a little conversation about Exotic Club because it all fits in to the Exotic Club. And we're going to start there. So PDD is going to open. And good morning to all of you, by the way. Nice to see you. So we're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about the craziness. We're going to talk about the market going up and whatnot. So PDD was up to over $100 in pre-market trading. It now is more evident and apparent than ever that buying a call, we talked about this already, but buying a call for every put is such a ridiculously important thing to do. And it wouldn't have solved, any substantial problems. I will have lost, so I took $5,000 out. I will have lost $11,000 on basically PDD. My Zoom stuff is actually reasonably okay. But when it's all said and done, today, assuming PDD continues to rise, I will either have lost $11,000 or I will have lost 5. I mean, it just depends. Depends on where it goes from here. And I'm really mad at myself. I'm really mad because I literally talked about buying a call for every 5 puts. And if I had done that, I'd have reduced the loss from 11 to like 7. Like it would have removed like $4,000 of losses. Now, when my total available trading capital is like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm mad and disappointed because I don't like to do things wrong. But it's not this isn't a catastrophic situation. It just feels super embarrassing, and I'm angry. I'm not angry that it went up, and I'm not arguing with the company, and not arguing with the market. The market can do whatever it wants. mad because I had a rule that would allow me to do what I wanted to do, but hedge it. And I didn't follow that rule. Now I'm going to say number two. The number two thing on this, and I think this is the more important conversation. For any of you that I think everybody here should have access to the Exotics Club, but if you don't, you can send an email to coaching@wrbooker.com and just tell us you want access to the Exotics Club. In the Exotics Club, we've been watching PDD, but we haven't traded it yet as a track record trade. Let me say that again. We haven't traded it yet as a track record trade. It hasn't even opened the trade yet. And as far as the Exotics Club members are concerned, or service is concerned, it hasn't even been a trade yet. And of all the options in all of this, that's the only one that makes any sense because it hasn't printed the bearish profit circle. It hasn't even done it. It's not even a trade yet. I mean, the 60-minute chart printed one. Big whoop. Big freaking deal. What a giant, awesome opportunity. But now to those of you here is old news, and probably even you're tired of it. And just at the moment when you're tired of it and you've had enough of it and it's ruined your day several times, just then is when things turn around. Third lesson. Okay, so lesson number one, I have a plan. Lesson number two, not even a trade yet. Really? Lesson number three, making $1,000 is way easier than making $57,000. There have been, okay, once again, big picture, very happy. Little picture, super mad, super disappointed in myself. It was like the biggest trading mistake I've made in a year or more. Okay. Third lesson, I had $1,000 two different times on PDD with two different trades, one that's closed and one that's still open. More than $1,000. I had $1,900 at one point. It's so easy to make. We can make $1,000 today on PDD. We're gonna do it together. We're gonna actually do it. I'm gonna pull it up, and we're actually gonna do it. We're gonna watch this happen in real time. Okay, someone's saying the screen isn't sharing, so I'm gonna stop the screen sharing for just a minute. I wanted to, in particular, show the PDD screen, and I think it will be up in just a second here. Okay. All right, got it. Okay, it's working now. Okay, there it goes. Opens higher. So today it's going to gap open higher, and I'm going to be super tired of it and super frustrated by it and all those things. And it's going to fill that gap. It's going to fall from 97.70. It may go up a bit from here. We're going to wait, the 13 to 14 minutes that we sometimes wait. And then it's going to fall. PDD is then going to fall. And there's easily $2,000, $1,000 on the table from this. Easily. It's so easy to do those chunks. Remember IWM, those intraday things that we did and whatnot? It's so easy. We find these things all the time. And yet, we make it harder than it is. I'm going to raise this alert to like 98, 98 something. Then I'll get a beep if it goes above that level. I'd like it to go up a little bit. I like taking those trades at the 13, 14 minute mark. But we've had these conversations before where I'm like, I'm 100% sure, and then I tell you something. I'm 100% sure that there's a day trade in PDD that's reasonably easy to take. Crazy, right? Okay, here's UONEK, the four knives in the chest pattern, or what I like to call the four waves in a wedding, four weddings in a funeral, the whatever you want to call it pattern. It's kind of a strike zone pattern. We talked about it in the Sunday session. I linked to that on Telegram. And UONEK, the non-voting shares opened higher. So, what's interesting is that the voting shares did not open substantially higher. Pretty interesting. And this may go up a bit, but I'm going to wait for this to drop back down a little bit. And I think we're going to get a move to that monthly pivot for all of the reasons that we already talked about on Sunday. This way, we talked about all of this, but we'll talk about it one more time. It jumped up wave 1, down wave 2, up wave 3, down wave 4 is always the bigger one. And then now we're going to be in a 5 that probably goes up to the monthly pivot or higher. That's just the pattern. The pattern works over and over and over and over again. And I am super giantly excited about that pattern. Now, I don't like the idea of buying it at $2.30 when I think I might be able to buy it at $2.11 or $2 or whatever. But I do very much like this chart, and I very much like this setup for all of the reasons that we discussed yesterday. It's a technical pattern that has, excuse me, that has repeated itself over and over and over again since the dawn of time. Next on the list, Reed. I want to look at Reed and LXRX just for a bit here. We looked yesterday, I think it was, at all of the strike zone trades that we've had. There was this big list of strike zone patterns that emerged a couple of months ago. And those trades, those charts just went out of control. There were even some from like last fall that just did really well. So there's no, it's not a big deal for me to hang on to this. Is stock, not options. I don't mind hanging on to this for another 60 days or so. And I think, over the course of the next 60 days, it could be really nice. LXRX, same deal. These are the kinds of trades or financial instruments that are life-changing, as long as I don't just give up or get super depressed about it or whatever. It's really not a big deal at all to hold on to this for a while, especially if it does potentially go up $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, or whatever else. Okay. So there you have it. Yeah. And you listen, Sue's got a great comment. I have taken to drawing a tight trend line for the duration of the Knoxville divergence. Then the profit circle usually prints it. Price crosses the trend line. Enter when it tests the trend line. Yeah. Timing the entry approach. Beautiful. Beautiful. You and I are definitely in sync. Just it's a lovely way to put it. And you draw that. I love how you referred to it as a really tight trend line. I love it. There's a good tight trend line there. This is probably too tight of a trend line. Still fun. I mean, still a fun trend line. One thing I like to look at is when something's overbought on the 5 minute, 1 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 60 minute, 24 minute, of course, 4 hour, 1 day, and 1 week. This was actually the Wallaby trade. Back in the day, I wrote that book inside of the Novotel Sydney Darling Harbor hotel lobby. That's called the Wallaby trade. The Wallaby was just 3 time frames, I think. This is a billion time frames. It's overbought on all of those time frames simultaneously. It's nice. So we're only I can't believe this. We're only 6 minutes into We're only 6 minutes in. And yeah, it seems like it's a decade or more. But two things that I'm gonna do today. One, I'm gonna buy some more of this UONEK. I'm gonna buy some of that. Look at that. The RSI still has plenty of room to go up. I'm gonna buy some of that. And then I'm going to buy some PDD options. The day trade. I want my money back. All right, S&P 500. Got a request for that. I wouldn't. Looking at PDD, you'd think the market's so on fire. Looking at the IWM, now the QQQ. So what's driving all this? Well, the tech stocks are driving all this. Look at these. Look at these tech stocks. Oh, Zoom. Never heard of that company before. Right? Cisco. Talked a little bit about Cisco last week. Citrix, CTXS. Technology stocks are just on fire. Why don't we distract ourselves for a bit by looking at the gap Tesla. Holy smokes. I mean, right? I'm maybe one of the world's biggest fans of Tesla. Maybe. I mean, what a day. What a day. Wow, this is one of those that we looked at too. AYRO. Didn't we look at this yesterday? I think we looked at this yesterday for a bit. Solo. CRTO. Look at NIO. Could we also maybe look at this one as a short? Let's see. One day. The electric vehicle sector, right? What's that? The Nikola Corporation. Okay, NIO. There's the 1 day. There's the 4 hour. The 4 hour is at an RSI of 91. It's impossible. The 60-minute chart's at an RSI of 95. The 30-minute chart is at an RSI of 94. 15-minute chart is at an RSI of 94, 93. The 5-minute is at an RSI of, nobody even knows, 95. And the 1 minute, 97 was the peak. I'm not arguing with the fundamentals here. I'm just I don't even have to do that. This is truly, it's like a gift. Like, this is a gift. I don't think that there's enough volume on these. I don't think there is anyway. I own these options, but this is I think that, I'm going to check here. August 21st. Wow. $11 put. The spread's 40 cents. It's too big. The $12 put. Spread's pretty wide. I guess you could go to the July 17th ones. $12 put. 5 cent spread. I mean, you give yourself 2 weeks. It's not the worst idea I ever saw in my life. It's not a bad one. This is preposterous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Nice to see like a little bearish movement there. See a little bearish profit circle action. Look at that chart. That's just the stupidest thing I ever saw. It's really quite extraordinary. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. So I'm going to be looking at PDD. I'm going to be looking at NIO. Like this is, you know, see if I can see if I could get into a little NIO situation. Okay, I bought 20. Here we go. I bought them. Going to put it up here for you. 20 of the $12 strike, 17th of July expiration. Puts. Okay. Up $180 so far. So this is like one of those things, like making $1,000 is reasonably easy. And I don't know why we wouldn't repeatedly over and over and over again make $1,000 over and over and over again. I don't know why we wouldn't do that. So let's put a little alert here. Like right here. Add alert. Up $20 still, even though price is moving. Okay, and then here's PDD. 1 minute chart's a little ridiculous. So I'm kind of, I'm just going to watch it. This is one of those things where I don't want all of the money back. I don't think it's wrong, revenge trading or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's wrong to do revenge trading necessarily. I think it's wrong to do revenge trading and risk more than, 0.5% of your total available trading capital. I mean, that sounds wrong. Okay, there's PDD. Little 1 minute chart action there. So we're right at about the time where it makes sense. Let's look at the spread on September 18th, $95 puts. That's a pretty wide spread. That's a pretty $95, $1.35. I mean, that's pretty wide. I mean, if it goes down, to $40, that's one thing. But we're trying to get some of my some of my money back, in other words. Just making sure I have my NIO situation up and running, up $300 on NIO. So here we go. PDD, August 21st. 10 of those, $8.45. So it's a wide bid-ask spread, so it's going to tell me to put in a limit order. There we go. Filled. And then we just want to see when it fills the gap and goes back down to this support right there. That's what I want to know. I also want to know if it goes above the highs. I really want to know if it goes to 100 and, over 100 or whatever. That's what I would not appreciate that. I would be disappointed in it if it did that. Okay. And then let's add NIO over here. I bought those for $1.80, up $300 right now. I don't think it's going to fill this gap right here. That's ridiculous. I don't think that the target is $9.41. That would be a little bit ridiculous. $380. So at $1,000, $460. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And then UONEK. And there we are. I'm not in any rush on this. I don't have to do anything here. I have absolutely zero responsibility to do anything with this. I don't have to do anything. I can watch this for as long as I want, which I will. And I like the idea of a 48-hour move in the correct direction. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. I'm going to look at your questions, comments, and jokes. So Derek says the recording from yesterday wouldn't play for him. Does anybody else have that problem with the recording from yesterday? Copy shareable link. And then I will post this again. There you go. There it is again. Okay, PDD, you're doing exactly the right thing. PDD put is up $330, $580. All we want to do is have it fill that gap. That would be beautiful. That would be absolutely lovely. You know, offset some of the other ridiculous garbage going on. Okay. Sue says, my guideline is to include all the candles from peak to peak of the Knoxville divergence in the trend line. So tight, but not crazy. Oh, yeah. Okay, I love that idea. $630 on PDD. There we go. Missed the Bloomberg opening ding, 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 ding in the background. Oh, yeah. I can put I could get that going again. That's a great idea. $630 on PDD. Tesla, go baby, go. Yeah. We were bearish and bullish NIO a way back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, NIO would be one where I do that hedge. That's exactly right. Oh, I wonder if you have to be logged into Zoom. And hey, all right. Let me try this as well. I didn't put a password on it on the recording. Sometimes we've had problems in the past because there's a password on the recording. But I'll download it and then upload the files themselves also. Okay, PDD's up 630. NIO. How you doing, NIO? Up 460. So yeah, NIO. What a okay. Okay. This is I love this conversation. Okay. Puts and calls and whatever else. Here we go. So let's talk about the swing hedge. Switching rules. Here we go. Or swing trading positions meant to last 3 to 21 days or more. When buying a put on a garbage company, for every 5 put contracts, by 1 to 2, really 1 calls with the same expiration date. This will act as a hedge when holding a position longer. This is unnecessary when day trading because with day trades, the trade will be closed on same day, or this trade will be closed on the same day or held open with a profit and break even stop. If a day trade is going well, super profitable, let's say it's plus 1,000 profit, can turn it into a hedged, I'm not going to call it fully hedged, partially hedged swing trade by buying a call near the close. So let's say PDD, it's only up, I don't know what it's up now. $550. So let's say PDD goes up to $1,000 in profit, and it's later on the day, and I decide, well, you know what? I'm going to hold this thing. I got a tiger by the tail. I'm going to hold this bad boy, and I'm going to turn this. I'm going to turn this trade into something substantial. Let's say that I do that. Then near the close, I could buy it. However, I mean, NIO and PDD are really two different things. NIO is truly, like that is the last financial instrument in the world that I know anything about or want to hold on to for any significant length of time. It's just a technical day trade. It's a day trade that is clearly a reasonably easy way to make $1,000. And this is not meant to be turned into a swing trade. But let's say it falls $1 right now, and my trade goes up to a $1,200 profit. And I say, well, wow, that's what a great idea to hold that longer because it's going well. And I know I shouldn't. And I know I should just take my money and run and do the Steve Miller Band method of trading. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take my profit. I'm going to turn it into a swing trade. Then I have to buy the call to hedge that trade. I have to do that. Otherwise, I'm just a stupid idiot at that point. Otherwise, that's just idiotic because I took what is obviously a technical day trade, something that gapped open so much higher on the open. Right? It's like, what was the gap here? Still 27%. Still 27%. Or, I don't know what this is. LM Funding America. What an idiotic stock. I mean, I'm sure this company is complete garbage. You can't short it, obviously. There's volume today, but there's not volume otherwise. So you take NIO and let's say I'm dumb enough to turn this into a swing trade. And I've been known to do stupider things than that. Well, then I got to do the hedge. But PDD is a different story. Now, PDD, I have long-term aspirations, delusions of grandeur, long-term delusions of grandeur and preposterous aspirations for the profitability of this trade. I have a long-term big picture view of PDD. I have a reasonably and significantly bearish view backed by research. It's not even a remotely stretch of the imagination. It's not even a remote stretch of the imagination to say that this is a trade that I could imagine holding on to. If the Sue version of trading with profit circles happened, we would wait for a break of the trend line. Let's even use the steep one. And let's say this trend line breaks and a bearish profit circle appears. That's the swing trade. That's today. Right now, it's a day trade. If it goes really well, sure, I'll buy a call. Sure, I'll buy a call and hold that thing longer. No big deal. But if it prints that bearish profit circle and breaks that trend line, well, then it's a swing trade to begin with. And at the very start of the swing trade, I need to do that hedge at the very beginning of it. So a day trade's a little bit different. I'm up $800 on PDD right now. That's a nice sort of way to at least, soften the blow of having traded poorly. I can't believe I'm even, after we made those plans. Okay, I'm going to stop saying I can't believe something that actually happened. Oh, the swing hedge strikes. Great. So, same expiration, strike. So I would basically trade something that is in the money, at the money, or near the money on both. There you have it. I still think it's going to fill that gap. It's just really close to doing that. And then, then it can go. It can go as high as it wants, right? UONEK, not a day trade, not a, nothing worth chasing there. Yeah, I can't emphasize it enough. NIO is not a swing trade. I don't remember. The only thing I remember about NIO is on the Bloomberg terminal, this stock comes up as one of the 3 worst companies in the world in terms of cash on hand versus earnings. Like, absolutely stupendous. We could probably log into Bloomberg and check it. So just logging in the old Bloomberg. All right, we'll let that start up. And we'll stay tuned here. Zoom is not as interesting to me as far as today is concerned. I bet it was overbought on every time frame. I'm not sure about that. I'm reasonably certain it was overbought on every time frame. Yeah. Oh, even on the week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also at crazy levels. But I only have like a certain amount of ammunition and firepower, right? I can only just focus on so many things. We could do the market cap watch on Zoom. $75 billion now. Price to earnings ratio of 1,505. Great. Yeah, making back some of those PDD losses. Oh, wow. $1,250. Okay, so my PDD trade is up $1,250. It's filling the gap. So now, if this is a swing trade, Sue, everyone, this is a swing trade, I now have to, right? I got to do something with this. I have to buy a call before the end of today. I've got to hedge this. Now, I don't need to hedge it right this second, but I got to hedge it. Like, I can't just, leave my cheese out there in the wind here. That's not that would be a completely irresponsible thing to do. But I do have long-term aspirations for this. I'm only up $160 on NIO. I'm going to watch that one pretty closely. $1,330 on Pinduoduo. Okay. I'm going to check out the garbage stocks. You can probably still hear me because of this microphone. If you can, put a comment up. Let me know you can still hear me. My new trade on PDD was I'll put it up in just a second. Oh, that's great. Keyboard's not even plugged in. There we go. There we go. All right, so it's the companies with the worst earnings. My computer did that thing where it slows down. Sounds a bit muffled, but you hear me. Okay, cool. All right, so still up $1,000 on PDD. Here it is, 21st of August expiration, $95 put, $95 strike. Put. I paid $8.45. So when something it's basically a wallaby trade, really. It's like a wallaby day trade. When something is up on every single time frame, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 minute, if they're all overbought or oversold at the same time, there is a reversal coming. And then you watch it on the 1 minute chart. And you get it opens bearish. We waited 13 minutes, right? And we saw that it, opened high and then drifted lower from there. No guarantee that even means anything. So, I mean, it could have gone the opposite direction. But generally, when we do this, we've done really well. We've had some really nice day trades. So here's the top garbage companies. Wow, bummer for SLB, Schlumberger. I mean, they did well. It's not uncommon for a company that is not really doing well to have a stock that does pretty well for a while, right? So Schlumberger did well for a while. Baker Hughes, that's just right down the street, actually. Concho Resources, I think that's probably 3 oil-related, energy-related stocks. And then next on the list, PDD, negative $10 billion in earnings after interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Negative 10. It is the 4th worst company in earnings with a $111 billion market cap. It's not as bad as like Schlumberger, which has a market cap of $24 billion and EBITDA of negative $18 billion. Not a good sign. Wow, is it really at 93? I get a little bit of an advance quote on the Bloomberg. 93. So it's going down further. And then NIO is next on the list with negative $10 billion in earnings and an $11 billion market cap. That's not okay. It's obviously sustainable if the Chinese government wants it to be. And then next on the list, PG&E. Pacific Gas and Electric, which started the California forest fires. Then IQ, Uber, Philip Morris, and a bunch of petroleum companies, Boeing, Frontier Communications, which has been bankrupt how many times? Chesapeake Energy, which is literally bankrupt. It's not a great list. I think PDD is actually going down to 93. The Bloomberg always tells you a little bit more than everybody else does. You get a little bit of a nice. It's up $1,400 now. $220 on the NIO trade. So that's my garbage companies. I actually called them something a little bit more explicitly dirty, wrong, bad. There's NIO. Yeah, NIO's. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect it to fill half the gap, right? Or go to the daily pivot. Wow, the daily pivot's way down there. Holy smokes. Okay, PDD. Back to PDD. Yeah, $1,800. PDD is going to break that trend line, Sue. PDD is going to go to $93. Bloomberg told you, heard it first. So I had that silly old Facebook put. You could see here, you know what the difference is on that Facebook trade? Facebook wasn't overbought on all those time frames simultaneously. It was eventually over here. That's where the trade was. It wasn't over here where I took the trade. I took the trade at the weekly pivot, and it wasn't overbought on multiple time frames simultaneously. That's where I made a mistake. I don't even know if Facebook was over. It wasn't even overbought. It wasn't even overbought like on the 4 hour. That's where I made a mistake on Facebook. Loud. Okay. Thank you. What about VIX? Any sign of a move? No, not really. Jeff will attest to this. We're going to get another shot at the VIX. Nile's up $2,150. Nile's probably. Nile's I'm probably getting all the best one mixed up with the worst one. Nile's probably the best one. It's probably the best one. It's probably the. I mean, once again, NIO. Here's the earnings. Negative $10 billion in earnings, and a market cap of $11 billion. Let's dig into the financials a little bit more. Hold on. All right, I'll just read you some financials. We'll look it up on Yahoo also, but I do like the accuracy of the. Boy, Apple Zoom is printing one heck of a daily whatever doji candle. Okay. EBITDA super negative. Short-term debt a gajillion, $13 billion in short-term debt. $13 billion of short-term and long-term debt and $13 billion of revenue. Free cash flow, negative $7 billion. Yeah, not a good company. So NIO will bounce here. And I get back in. You'll probably take some money off the table here and then go right back in. Here's NIO. Overvalued, obviously. Upbeat report on June sales. We could read about that. Sure. We'll look at the statistics. Oh, did it have a fair value? It doesn't even have a fair value. The fair value is zero. NIO, negative 138% profit margin, negative 34% return on assets, negative quarterly revenue growth, negative earnings per share. It's not really even a short squeeze. And then let's look at Tesla. Let's just compare that to Tesla. Tesla, overvalued. Really? You think? Tesla, profit margin, negative 0.55. Big difference. Negative 100%, negative 55%. Return on assets, positive. Tesla, earnings. And a current ratio where they can pay their debt. Oh, I wonder what NIO's current ratio was. They have 53 cents for every dollar of short-term debt they have. Okay. So up $1,700 on PDD. I got to, move a stop to break even. It's going to bounce at some point in time. It's just what it does, right? And this was actually a really nice time. Had a reasonably happy, reasonably strong finish to an otherwise unhappy day where I made some mistakes and then did something about those mistakes. Up $2,030 on PDD for the day, up $500 now on NIO. And, with $420, with some hope in sight for some light at the end of the tunnel on trading some of these terrible companies. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for hanging out together with me. I love you all. And I'll see you tomorrow.